All right, so this week I'm going to start it off a little differently. If you look at the content tab for our upcoming philosophy of education, there is a thread there that looks at your essentially your personal hero in education. And I know some of you have seen this movie, depending on who you took in 101. But if you have not already, I'm going to give a little plug for this wonderful YouTube. So it's Sir Ken Robinson, who is an educational scholar. And this
Every country on earth at the
TED
moment
Talk.
is reforming public education. There are two reasons for it. The first of them is economic. People are trying to work out, how do we educate our children to take their place in the economies of the 21st century? How do we do that?
So obviously that is a tiny teaser, but you can see that it's a really neat TED Talk to begin with. And then the cool thing is this company, the RSA, did this really cool art drawing that goes along with it that I find incredibly fascinating, especially as a proclaimed non-artist. But in any case, that kind of inspires me to think about my philosophy of education. And so if it helps you, I'd encourage you to just watch 5 minutes of a YouTube or something like that to really get you kind of in that mindset. So this week, though, it's going to be a little different in terms of what we're doing and how we're structuring it because, as some of you guys have already pointed out, you have already written your philosophy of education. I do not, by any stretch of the imagination, anticipate that you are rewriting your philosophy of education from your original student teaching application. I'm going to repeat that just so it sinks in. Please do not, unless you really, really want to, rewrite your philosophy of education from your student teaching application. With any luck, these experiences that you've been having already in your 6 weeks or however many weeks you've been in your placement have really kind of helped you to formalize some of your notions that you've explained in your philosophy of education. So maybe you need to do a tweak or two here or there. But for the most part, I would expect to see them to be very, very similar. Maybe you are kind of, not too happy with your writing there, so maybe you take a couple of minutes to retweak and whatnot. But as soon as you can, please post to the discussion board a copy of your philosophy of education. If you click on this link right here, it'll take you to the content page. That's just kind of the overview that I've provided. For the most part, it's literally the exact same requirements. The only catch, so maybe I'll pull it up. The catch is that it may not be longer than 2 pages or about 500 words in length. Understand that altogether, you're starting to create a portfolio that's rather large. So we want to make sure that we are hitting the point fast and we are being succinct and clear in our writing. So this can be difficult. This takes a lot of thinking at the beginning and very little writing when it comes down to it. So understand that I will deduct points for going over that page limit at this point in time because really this is about writing to the point and being really direct in our thinking. So in any case, when you go to post, there's a nice form here for you. I'm not going to assign partners for this round. We'll just see how this goes. So as soon as you can, post those and then choose a peer that doesn't have a review already done. There is, if you click on that button or in the content section, there is a peer review of the philosophy of education. Ooh, that's a big thing. And you can download this and use this as a template. And it's really just kind of a way to use those same questions and really the exact same rubric that I will be using to score these. And I'm going to ask that you create feedback. This can be, please write in full sentences, but these can be about 1 or 2 per row. I think a 2 per row is yes, 2 boxes per row. So these can be both encouraging or critical. And I'd really encourage you to at least give them some amount of critical feedback, especially if you see where I find a lot of people struggle is in this conventions or the spelling or grammatical errors. Remember that depending on who you are interviewing with, you may be interviewing with an administrator who was an English teacher or has a background in English or is really concerned about that. And they will pick up on that right away. So I would, in your shoes, I'd be much more excited to get feedback from my peers and know about those mistakes prior to going in front of an administrator and having them read that and being like, oh, wow, she used the wrong there. And so go ahead and fill those out and then post those to the discussion page as a reply to the original post. If you could try to do that by Friday, that would be great because that will allow the person who you've reviewed in time to really make those changes and post to the Dropbox by Sunday. So if you have any questions, again, there is the general course questions tab, and if not, you can always catch me by email. At the end of all this, both the peer review, so this is the catch, both peer review and your philosophy of education should go to the Dropbox at the same time. So you can just upload multiple files. Oops, sorry, Kendra's already got her link up there, which is awesome, to that Dropbox file. So great. Thanks, guys, and we'll talk soon.